Hey babe, what's for dinner?
Okay, well, in my never-ending quest to find a substitute for brisket and burn-ins, well, everybody says we can use chuck roast. Well, okay, we're going to do that because chuck roast to me has very little value anywhere else. The best thing you do with chuck roast is grind up and make it a hamburger. About everything else anybody does is make a pot roast out of it. Well, I don't really like the way the grain runs. It's kind of all over the place. It'll be more the way they cut it. Instead of the grains running where you can slice them into slices, it's more you'd have to pull it. So with one of these, this guy, we're going to cut him into, we'll make burn-ins out of it, which is poor man's burn-ins, not real ones. Because burn-ins, for those that doesn't know, when you have the big brisket, you have the big fat end, and it eventually tapers down to the little skinny end. One's the point, one's the flat. It doesn't matter which one it is right now for my mind this morning. But the little skinny one, it will cook faster. So what they'll do, when everything's done, it's just a little more done. They'll cut it off. There's a way to do an angle there and get the whole piece of meat out. You take the skinny end, and then you will slice that up and cube it off into that, and then you'll coat that sauce and stick that back in the smoke and let that go till it's done. So what we're going to do here is something similar. But I want these things to be tender and juicy, so we're going to hit it with meat tenderizer on this guy, really good and heavy, and pepper, and work in some salt, and get the jacquard out. If you don't have one of these, I mean, you can use forks. This makes life a whole lot easier. And then just pierce the whiz out of it. I'm gonna flip it, hit the other side the same way, because none of that, you never know about, you want your meat tender and juicy and everything, so I'm trying to get all this stuff to permeate down through it. Well, that's a big hunk of mess when it, like it's when I met her law, right? Here's this one really good. Sorry if it's too loud. Now I've already got it sort of pierced. I have mixed some barbecue sauce and some vinegar to thin it down just a little. It's still kind of thick though. I'll hit this on it. I want to pierce that in too. You want this to work all through the meat. You want to let this sit in the refrigerator. You can do it overnight. It's the best thing you can do, but we're going to have several hours today before we stick this outside in the smoker. Now we do have a big honking mess. Be nice if it was a good looking steak though. Like from some movie or something somewhere. Those big Texas steaks that, you know. Okay. Now we're gonna cut them into cubes. Let's see. Oh, looks like that's gonna be a nice one. Well, we'll work on that. Start right here where we got a good seam. Okay. Over here. Oh. And just cut it into good bite-sized pieces. Now you can see how the grain is running up and down. This makes it hard to slice. So on the other one, when I get to it, we're going to cook it as one big piece of a roast. And then one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to find a really good way to slice this, or we're going to have to chop it up into chopped beef barbecue, which either way it'll be good. But it does have its own challenges. So, but just to show you the grain, see, I mean, you need to slice it this way, but it's hard where it's just laying flat like that. Because it end up tough and then you can't eat it. Well, you could, but it might break your teeth off. So, just want to continue cutting this. So now I've got that in the bowl. I just want to pour the rest of my marinade on it. A little thick for a marinade. Give it a good mix up. We'll let this sit in, like I said, in the refrigerator for several hours. Let it work its little happy magic. Work the sauce off. Now with this one, the one that we're hoping to make a brisket substitute, I would do the air quotes, but that's kind of stupid. I'll heat up some mustard. The mustard acts as a binder for your seasoning. Shouldn't really taste the mustard when this is all said and done. Not much. Come on, there you go. Now for this one, it's basically a bit of salt and a good amount of pepper. Okay, salt again, and just for giggles, I've got some of my sweet preacher dry rub. Put that on, and we're gonna let this also sit in the refrigerator for several hours in this heavy little bowl. And then when we come back, we'll have the smoker ready and we'll get this going.
All right.
Okay, so we're getting ready. It's been marinating for, I don't know, it's almost about 5 or 6 hours. Okay, so here's what she looks like coming out there. This is going to be the burnt ends, poor man's burnt ends. I'm hitting them with final coating with some rub. And when they're done, well, the first done, because when it comes to these things, there's 2 dones. When the meat has reached its good temperature and it's technically done cooking, we'll bring it out, then we'll coat it with barbecue sauce, stick it back in there, and then let all that caramelize together. And here's the big piece that we're hoping is going to be a substitute for brisket, even though I'm fairly doubtful that that's going to happen. Also, I didn't put this on the screen earlier. I did go back after the camera was off, and I pierced this big one with tenderizer, and then while it was cooling in the refrigerator, I put some vinegar on it to help break that down. So that's been going for quite a bit. So,
okay. What have you got extra foil?
The extra foil. So what we do here is we're gonna let this cook, exposed to the smoke. So I've got a big pan under here. And then I'm going to protect the meat from the bottom, but the smoke's going to come up and around. What the extra foil is for is when it gets all the smoke I think it's going to get, but it still needs more cooking. I'm going to fold this over and seal it up. It's called the Texas cheat. I have no idea if Texans invented it, but Texans are good at barbecue too, so we'll give them credit and go from there. But for now, let's just head up to the smoker and see what we can do.
Okay.
Got my temperature at 290. That's a little bit more than what I wanted. I've got it set for 275, but as I've said in other videos, these things are temperamental, so look it back up and down and just monitor your temperature. Anyway, and in she goes. And we'll check back and then see what we do from time to time.
Okay.
So we've been holding at 270 for about an hour. Take a quick peek. Obviously not done. We'll take a probing temperature. See what we're getting. Doing better than I thought. Wow. Okay, not there yet, but it's getting there. Let's try there. Okay. And the little dudes. Those might be getting there, for real. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do, probably not going to get on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the bites off, and then we'll wrap them, and then let them cool down, and I'll bring them back out and stick them on the grill to grill them up under high heat here in a little bit once this gets done. But I'm going to let that. This one won't take a whole lot longer. It's got some more climbing to do, but we're within 15 degrees of being well done. And again, this is beef, so you can eat it on the medium to rare, whatever you like on beef. And if you're brave enough to eat it raw, that's your business. Okay, we're about an hour and 45 minutes. Let's take a peek. That one's looking really good now. So we're gonna take that out, let him rest. And these are looking good. So what we're gonna do, pull these out and set these over here and show you what we're gonna do next. So I'm gonna set this on sear, turn this up on high, and get that fire going again. Okay, then. Now, while the grill's coming back up to temperature, we go take some brown sugar and some barbecue sauce. Guess what you're going to make before we're going to buy something. Just a quick stir. The reason I'm putting the brown sugar in one, I like brown sugar, and it's sweet and everything, it's really good. Two, it'll help caramelize and get the little crispy burnt parts on our burnt ends with the flavor and everything. So now what I'm going to do, let's go over here. Now that guy just stays the same. He doesn't do anything. Put our bites in. Looks good, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Smells good, don't it?
Yeah.
Can y'all smell this? YouTube smell-o-vision? Yeah, it's an old dumb joke. I can't. It smells good though. I'm still curious how this is going to slice, or we may end up just pulling it. Everything's still nice and juicy though.
Mm-hmm. You can pour that juice in there too, or?
I can. Probably.
Or wait.
Well, let's see what we got here on the tossing. No, maybe just if we need it, we'll keep it in reserve because this is coating really good. Yeah. So, as soon as the grill gets hot, we'll be back. Alright. Got our smoker rolling, got the flame back on, still coming up to temperature. Now we got one of these years ago. It really helps your meat not fall down and to make a mess. And you can still get that good flame flavor on it. So we'll put this all on there and then we'll take a good look at it all. Give it some stirs when we need to. And I'm sure that sugar will do its happy little burning caramelized magic here in a few minutes. And we'll have some poor man burnt ends. Temperature coming up really good. And we'll take a peek. Roaring fire. So turn these pretty quickly. Yeah, now we're getting them same little crispy caramelized burnt ends. That's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna have this as a side dish, some bushes, whatever flavor that is. Of course, it's never good enough for me. So got some brown sugar added to it, a little bit of mustard just for the kick, and a little bit more barbecue sauce. Then we'll heat them up, and that's our side. Okay, D. This guy's everywhere. We're going to see how in the world we're going to slice it. If it will, it may not. It may slice great. So far, so oh, we got the little smoke ring. You like yours on the thinner side?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. maybe we found an option on how expensive brisket is. Why brisket is expensive is killing me, because it's a huge, it's just popular because barbecue people do it. But it's not a good cut of meat. But this being chuck roast is not a good cut of meat either. So, cheap meat. These briskets are so big and wonky. And they take forever to trim all that fat off that you don't need. So this is gonna be our poor man's brisket, or just smoked chuck roast. Well, we didn't have to pull it, so it is slicing.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's tender. That's the other thing. All I can say is, hey y'all, we're about ready to eat. Is that a better hey y'all than Paula D?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would like to think the Tennessee hey y'all is just as good as the Georgia hey y'all. So, hey y'all. Okay, here's our baked beans. Pretty good. Here. Now, here's an important part. This is what you see if you do get really good brisket. Oh yeah, that's pulling apart pretty good. Little bit of resistance, so we'll see. Okay, Deanne, pick you out some right in here.
Sure.
Okay. Want 2 pieces of that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, 2.5. And a couple of our burnt ends.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that you want either. That's fine. I'll take that one. Okay. Are we ready for a taste test?
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of forks. I don't think it's gonna be spoon tender, but we'll give it a whirl. Okay. First, I guess I'll go first. First, the burnt ends. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's good. It is tender. It's not too chewy so far. Okay. Now for the imitation brisket. I say that the joke because it's not real brisket. Yeah. Of course, I want to get that piece. This is what I was talking about where they do the grain weird. You really have to be careful how you pull it apart. So here we go. It's really good. Does not taste like brisket, but it's really good. And now for a bite of the beans. The beans are fantastic. I don't even like canned baked beans, but what we did to that really helped. Okay, Dan, you try it now. I will take over. And while she's doing that, first of all, on the beans, is that really good?
Yeah.
We just got back from Florida, which some of y'all have seen some of our videos. Deanne's hit it well, but she was sick the whole time with allergies. We did have her tested, nothing bad, but she has some severe allergies to everything in Florida and some stuff up here.
Yeah.
Okay, now okay.
His roots are good.
The brisket part,
Mm-hmm.
the imitation brisket, now you burn in. Okay, now which one's better? And what's thoughts other than it's just good? Because you've had brisket recently.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does that compare to real brisket? If you can't afford to go out and spend $100 in 24 hours to cook, that works as a good substitute.
Yep.
And the burnt ends,
Okay.
very good.
Caramelized real good.
Caramelized good, and the beans are amazing.
Yeah.
I think so. So anyway, from Brian and Deanne, cooking again.
Yeah.
Back from our trip, and we're back in the kitchen. So anyway, we'll see y'all next time. Love y'all, mean it.
See you later.
Okay. Final thoughts. the ones that we sliced into cubes and did the burn-ins with are more tender and easier to chew. Yeah, these were identical chuck roast type cuts of meat. This is still tender, but not as tender as those. And my thinking is, it's the way that the grain runs. Because these things, the grain runs up and down on a piece of meat that looks like a big thick steak. So the only thing you could do would be to find a way to turn it up on its end and slice it thin, but it's still really good, but this is the way to go. Don't you think, Deanne?
Yeah.
Way more tender, plus with the sauce on it, that sugar and burnt just right, just getting really good and crispy. Y'all really should try that one. And chuck roast, usually you can find on sale way cheaper than brisket anyway. So anyway, see y'all.